Okay, let's come back over to the Layers palette and make sure that we select the backdrop color layer. So this is the one that we can now create a new element on. We can go ahead and close that down. Let's go back also into preview mode by pressing Command Y or Control Y on the PC, and we're going to zoom up on our flyer graphic down here in the lower corner because I want to show you one of my favorite options for creating an evenly divided object. So basically a grid, but in separate shapes, and it's very, very easy to do. Basically, this flyer is going to be styled later on so that it's cut in sort of two pieces. The left-hand piece will be a black background with a logo and perhaps a slogan. The right hand is going to be an even grid of images, 3 by 3, and it's very easy to divide an object in Illustrator this way. Let's start out by selecting our background object, and remember when we did our keyboard shortcuts we specifically went in and created a keyboard shortcut for something called split into grid, and that's precisely why we did that. I want you to now pull up that shortcut. Now if we go over to object, I just want to show you where it is in case you need it in the future. Go to object and down to path and you'll see split into grid. There's the shortcut that we applied earlier. Shift, Command and Option, or Shift Control Alt on the PC and G, okay? So back up to just the selection on its own, activate your keyboard shortcut, and we'll pull up the split into grid dialog box. Now all we're going to do at this stage is create two columns. So go ahead and turn on preview, add a second column. You can see that Illustrator is now dividing those two shapes, but there is a default gutter. So let's change that to 0 so there is no space. It's an even cut straight down the middle. All right. Now say OK, deselect, and we'll select the right hand one and use our keyboard shortcut to pull up exactly the same dialog box and now split this into 3 rows by 3 columns. Okay, now let's make sure we go ahead and turn on preview, and likewise make sure there are no gutters in this so we end up with a clean cut and say OK, and it's just so very, very quick and easy to do this instead of trying to measure the number of shapes and then multiply them and copy them into the exact position. This is so very easy. Now, in order to make this easier to see, it might be worth just quickly changing the color of some of these. So I'm going to click on the top left-hand one, hold down the Shift key and click top right, center, bottom left, and bottom right. And we'll come over into the color palette and just slightly increase their shade of black. And we can do the same with the remainders, the top center, the middle left, bottom, and middle right. Okay, and we'll maybe make those a shade lighter, in fact. So you can see there the split into grid is incredibly handy, and you can use this for many different things, and we'll actually use it a little bit later for dividing up text frames. So nice handy little option, and that's precisely why we gave it a keyboard shortcut.